Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, the movie, the game.
And I'm Claire, and I need to swim to the surface in 30 seconds or less.
And this is Make
Make
That
that
Game
game, where we pitch the latest
Greatest
new video game ideas.
that aren't going to get made, but we like to pretend. So, hey Claire, have you been playing video games in the last week or so? Have you done any of that? Do you have any news about gaming that you would like to share
Yeah.
with
So a
me and
couple.
the listeners? Oh, sorry. I interrupted. Sorry.
So I have a couple things. I did get back into Wander Song, which I honked and bonked a couple episodes ago, and it continues to be delightful. I actually, those of you who follow us on Instagram at Make That Game Pod, know that I have optimized my keyboard by putting colored stickers on it so that I could more easily play the game. So that is fun. And also, every time I use my laptop, I'm reminded that I could play Wander Song. so so it's been good. I also started playing Subnautica Below Zero, which was a few people actually recommended I play this after I was talking about how much I want a water level game. Um, and actually, Isaac had recommended this game to me way before that. I was worried about playing Subnautica because the point of view of the game is like you're looking through the kind of the swim mask of the main player, so you can't even see like your body basically. And I thought that would make me really sick, but I decided to give it a try, and I've actually really enjoyed it. So that's been the games I've been playing. We also, Isaac and I last night watched Free Guy,
A movie
which
about a game.
is a movie about a game, and I would give that a 10 out of 10, A plus. It was fantastic.
It was
Um,
pretty good. I've learned to trust Ryan Reynolds again after Green Lantern. So
yeah. Yeah, it's he's won our hearts back. I would highly recommend it, especially if you like games. They put a lot of cute Easter eggs in there for gamers.
yep. And then somehow, I mean, it's Hollywood, so obviously they
Yeah.
got some things like extremely wrong, but that it was pretty good at its core. Turn off the
Yeah.
gamer brain and hey, it's a movie.
I mean, it's made for everyone, right? It's
Yes,
supposed to
not
be.
just
So
gamers.
I was joking because obviously this isn't giving it away because they reveal this within like the first minute of the movie, but um the main character is an NPC, and they say the word NPC a bunch of times, and then about 3 minutes in, someone goes, "Yeah, a non-playable character," and I was like,
Yeah.
"That's for everyone in the audience has no idea what they're talking about." So anyway, great movie about games. So I thought I'd put that in there. What about you, Isaac? What have you been up to this past week?
So I know I did something amazing last week by playing new games. I actually didn't do any of that this week. I feel like I didn't have any time. I don't know what happened, but all my time that I played games went into Elden Ring again.
You did
And
wake
I'm
up
like,
at 6 a.m. and play Elden Ring one day this
I
week.
I I woke up at 6 a.m. and played Elden Ring before work. Yeah. I'm an Elden Ring maniac, I guess, and I'm still nowhere close to beating the game because I'm also a scrub who takes his time. I'm not a speedrunner as much as I want to be. I am excited. I did read kind of like a preview for a new Warhammer 40K turn-based tactics game that I'm excited for. I don't know actually when that comes out or what its name is off the top of my head. It's like Demon Hunters or something. And that might be the next new game I play. If they're already pre-release reviewing, like sending out preview copies, I assume that is only a month or two away. But yeah, besides that, not much new on the gaming front. Oh, I talked about Kingdom Hearts last week, and I think a little bit after we recorded, they announced Kingdom Hearts 4 officially. So if you heard it here first, folks, we are your source for gaming news. Anyways,
What
speaking of
was the
Kingdom
new?
Hearts,
Sorry,
oh,
speaking of gaming news, what was the new game that we were looking at that's published by Graffiti Games? that we were like really excited
Ooh,
about.
hold on. Let me do a quick Google.
I tried to Google it and I couldn't figure it out.
Graffiti games.
It was on Instagram is where I found it.
Lila's Sky Arc
Yes.
launches
So,
in 5 days.
and can you, because I can't remember. All I remember is I read it and I said, this is a game I want to play. What is it about?
So it was inspired by Link's Awakening, which I think was a major reason you were very interested
Yes,
in it.
that was a pivotal game in my gaming life.
Lila's Sky Arc is a vibrant action adventure game set in a psychedelic world filled with quirky characters, puzzles, intense fights, secrets, and more. And then the story blurb is one morning, Lila and her friends, Mr. Keepchen and Dr. Father Sir wake up to find themselves facing a grim foe, the Conductor and his generals who have invaded the Sky Island to take all that is magical and musical. So this is hitting a lot of notes for you because it's got whimsy, it's got musical, it's Link's Awakening.
Yeah. So anyway, just wanted people to know that game is out there. If you tend to be a cozy gamer like me, if you liked Link's Awakening, if you like Wandersong, it sounds like it's going to be great, and I will be playing it. So we'll know if it's great very soon.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have any honks or bonks that you want to give to me, to tell me about in any games that you've played lately?
I have honks and I have bonks actually.
Oh,
yes.
I only have one of those.
All right. No. But yeah, so I will be honking and bonking Subnautica Sub-Zero. So this was no, it's Subnautica Below Zero. I made that up. Okay, Subnautica Below Zero. I think it would have been funny if it was like Sub-Zero, but it didn't do that.
That's too many subs in one name.
So this is actually the sequel to Subnautica, the first game. And I decided to play it because why not? Instead of playing the first one. I don't know.
Also, you decided to play this one. I just wanted to point out a viewer recommended.
Yeah,
or
a
listener.
listener. I did mention that.
Oh, you did. Oop, cut that part out.
I think so. I said a lot of people, I've heard this from a lot of people after my episodes. So I thought that concluded that a listener. I feel like more than one. I feel like I got some recommendations of this.
Oh yeah, because you say water level and people think about Subnautica.
Yeah. It was released in 2019. It was public. It's Unknown Worlds Entertainment. Anyway, so it's a good game. So again, I did just start playing it. I think it was Friday, I believe. So I did not get maybe even yesterday. And I've played as much as I possibly could with the amount of time I've had this week to try to get a really good honk and bonk. But I will say I am not very far into the game. My first honk though is that it is so pretty, and that's what everyone's pretty much said about it. It's just an absolutely gorgeous game. There's so many details. The world is beautiful. The lighting is beautiful. Like you're on an alien planet. So although a lot of things are recognizable in the sense that like, oh yes, like underwater plants, there's fish, but they're all kind of alien looking and they have weird capabilities. And it's a really fun thing to look at. And it's, just a pleasing to be there, which I think is important for games to like enjoy being in the world. That's going to keep you coming back. And so that's awesome. I mean, it's like not a lot to say more than that about it, but about the looks, but like it's just really, really pretty. The other honk is I don't actually get nauseous playing this despite the POV. So like the point of view. So I because even Life is Strange, like that would make me nauseous after a while.
Like the bottle quest.
Okay, we don't talk about the bottle quest. We don't talk about that.
Now the listeners are going to be curious, but we don't talk about it. So
maybe that'll be a bonus episode when I'll do a whole Life is Strange series and I can talk about the bottle quest. But yeah, so I mean, again, Life is Strange, it's not too bad. Like it would take a while for me to not feel great, but I would still like need to stop. This one, the first time I played it, I will say I felt like I had been swimming So
That's good. They
like
brought
a
you into the
little
world.
right. So like it was a little disorienting, but it wasn't like sick. It just was kind of like, ooh, like I actually feel like I've been underwater. So that was actually a honk, I thought. I did take a Dramamine for yesterday just in case, but I don't think it was really an issue. And I played this morning with absolutely no issue. So that's pretty impressive. That means that the way that the controls are and the way that they've designed the motion is just very smooth, and it doesn't make me sick. Now, I think if I watched Isaac play, I have a really strong feeling I would get very sick. It's kind of the same way as like when you're driving a car, you don't get car sick. When you're in the passenger seat, you do. And also
Mm-hmm.
Isaac plays games at a speed at which I cannot comprehend. And
I
so
play games chaotically.
yeah, like I like to actually move like a person would move, and he likes to move like a computer would move, and that's fine, but it's not for me. um anyway, the other
Wow.
thing is
Okay.
it
Called
does,
out.
yeah. My final honk is satisfying water mechanics, which you all know I love. I wanted a water level, and by George, I got one. So the splashy sounds. They've got the splashy sounds. You come up for air, splash. You go back in, splash. You swim, sounds like arms moving through water. There's some resistance there. You actually go pretty slow, which can be frustrating, but again, it's what I wanted. I was trying to harvest some materials and it kind of like bounced down a cliff, and I had to literally chase this material as it slowly submerged itself. Yeah, so I think the water mechanics are great in this, and it is giving me that sense of water level that I was so desperately searching for. So that's great.
So we found a good water level game. Can we find a good horse combat game without making one ourselves? That's the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah,
That's the
listeners,
quest I'm
if
on.
you know a horse game where you with horse combat, let us know, because we will play that. But as wonderful as this game is, I do have a few bonks. The first bonk is maybe I didn't really know what I was asking for when I said I want a whole water level game, because
I
it's
tried to
hard.
warn you. I tried to warn you.
So the hardest part about this game is the oxygen system. So I will say, so they give you options to play. So there's like free mode where you just kind of can like build stuff. I don't even know what you would build at this point. But again, I'm not super far into the game, and I have found some like discarded like ship parts that I haven't done anything with. So maybe you could build stuff like that. But there's a mode which I'm playing, I forget what they're all called, but where you track some health and you get to do the story, but you don't have to worry about food or water. Then there's like extreme, where you do food, water, and also if you die, you like completely start over. Whereas in mine, you just go back to like the base, and you lose some materials, kind of like most games when you die out in the world. So that's, and that's fine. I guess for me, a water level doesn't necessarily equate survival. Like so like in Ori, for example, is a game I played, or what's it, Ori and the something.
Will of the Wisps, I think, is
Yes.
the one that
Yep.
you played.
Yep, because I know there was more than one. You get to swim, but when you first get to swim, you can't breathe underwater, so you have to like keep coming up for air. But then you eventually get a power where you can stay under like as long as you need to. And I upgraded my oxygen tank, and I am still I have 70 literal 70 physical seconds to be underwater before I have to come up for air. Which brings me to my next bonk. And I'm sure this will, like, I do trust that the game is going to give me another upgrade to my tank. However, there's so much to explore in this world. And I'm used to games like Life is Strange, where you can take as much time as you want to explore. And when I'm on land, I can. Of course, I have to worry about my temperature because we're in like an Arctic environment. So I have to find places for warmth, but the game does a really good job at giving you those. Like there's always like a hot spring or a weird alien flower that emits heat, or, like you can find these spaces and you don't actually lose temperature that fast. Also, and this is true of both in water and on land, I think it's really cool that like, so if I'm running, my temperature goes down slower than if I'm just standing still. And
gotta keep moving.
Yeah, so that's just neat. I think that was a good detail, but I could explore. Like I was on an abandoned science lab, and I could have stayed there as long as I wanted to, looking at everything, which is what I'm used to in this type of game. But underwater, I can't, because I have to breathe. And so like the depth I can explore is limited, the amount of time I can explore is limited. So I feel like I'm more task oriented in this game versus like really trying to explore and learn about things. And it's starting to get a little frustrating because I feel like I'm missing a lot. And if Isaac's watching, he'll be like, "Oh, what's that cool thing?" And I'll be like, "Sorry, I can't because I need like the next 30 seconds to swim to the surface or I will die." Uh, so it's kind of getting a little annoying. I feel like I'm missing a lot just because of this mechanic. And then my final bonk is that I'm struggling with the free form nature of this. So again,
Okay.
and I'm comparing to Life is Strange a lot because I feel like it's similar in a lot of ways, except for the survival stuff. Life of Strange does not have that at all. You can't actually die in Life is Strange, but like as far as like there is a storyline here which I'm excited about, and that's kind of keeping me going. But I just don't know what to do next. And Isaac's had to help me a lot with that. And it makes me feel silly. Like I should be able to figure this out on my own, but I just can't figure it out. And there's so much to look at and so much to explore that I miss a lot of things. I feel like we need two sets of eyes on it to even get anywhere. So for example, the first thing one of the first things I had to do was find this like abandoned like supply stash. And I did find it and I did a lot of exploring, but I missed a pretty important piece there. I went back to my hub. I was trying to do a bunch of other things, couldn't move forward. So I went back there, figured out, found the thing I was supposed to find. But there's nothing to tell you like, well, this area isn't done yet. So in Life is Strange, you can look at, usually they have like a task list, and it will cross off or check off or go away, whatever the game wants. But so if it was like explore abandoned storage area, that wouldn't check off if I hadn't finished exploring it. So I would know that there's something else I had to find there instead of just literally swimming around the vastness of the ocean, hoping something will happen. And like I'm trying to find, there's like my next task basically is super deep in the ocean, and I can't swim that deep without dying because of my oxygen capacity. And so now I just have to figure out like how the heck am I supposed to, like, I have to find upgrade, it's just, I don't know. Nothing seems super clear for how I'm supposed to use things or what to do next. There's no kind of tutorial. Maybe they expect that I played the first game. I'm not sure. And also I guess it's just, we've noticed it's just hard for me to read every single thing that happens on the screen too, especially when again there's so much to look at. So I'm struggling with like direction here, where I'm literally struggling with direction. I was going to put that as a bonk, but then I remembered there's a compass I need to craft, so I'm like probably will help with that.
Yeah,
but being underwater,
the purpose of a compass, right?
Right. So I was like, well, that's not really a bonk, that's just called I need to make that compass.
They provide the tools that you need.
Being underwater is disorienting, like because you can go all which ways, and so, but I think that's just part of it. But it's like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. But I would say overall, this game is so fun. I will definitely keep playing. It's good to have in my back pocket for like a fun water adventure. The animals are really cool looking, and I would say play this game. Isaac?
Nice.
What are you going to honk and bonk for us today?
I am going to honk and bonk Kingdom Hearts 3. Started playing it 2 weeks ago. I've played probably not even a decent amount. This feels like it's going to be an extremely sinisterly long game where I have to listen to Donald Duck and Goofy talk, like just say little comments every 35 milliseconds. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts by Square Enix, playing it on the PlayStation 4, if that matters. And folks, it is a game, all right. Nothing like from the design really stands out as a honk for me. Which is not to say it's bad. I think it's all very well executed, but there's nothing that has happened so far where I'm like, wow, that I am happy that they did it this way. It's like a fairly basic action game. uh, it checks all the marks. It does everything satisfactory, or most things satisfactory. So I don't have any particular honks to point out about this game, but I do. No, that's going to be a bonk. So my first bonk isn't really a bonk. It's not about game design at all. This is actually just a funny detail.
Wow, I just want to say you were honest about only having one for us today.
I said it.
That was not a joke. Okay.
No.
Here we go.
But so going back to like Daffy or Donald Duck and Goofy making comments every 35 milliseconds. So every time any character is on screen, they make some kind of noise, like a little gasp or a chuckle or something. They acknowledge that their existence. A horse will whinny if it's on screen. And then in the Hercules world, Pegasus flies down with Meg and Phil from the Hercules movies. Lands, the horse, the Pegasus neighs, Meg makes like a aha sound. Phil, completely silent. Every single time it pans to another character, they make like a little noise, and then it goes back to Phil. Or sorry, it goes back to like the Pegasus crew. Pegasus whinnies again. Meg makes a little sound or starts talking. Phil, no noise at all. So my guess is that they could not afford Danny DeVito to show up and do voice lines, and it's just so conspicuous, and I think that's hilarious. That's great. Anyways, into actual stuff. Bonks. The movement is extremely floaty. It's very hard to control. Like, I'm running forward, I do an attack, I stop, I do the attack exactly where I am. I move forward, I cast a spell, I continue sliding throughout the entire spell cast directly forward on the ground, and I don't think I ever stop. I just slide. What's going on with that? Why is an attack such like a hard stop? Like, I guess there is like a forward movement towards enemies if you're locked onto them, but I don't know. The fact that it's completely different is weird to me. I don't I it makes it hard for me to figure out exactly what's going on in combat or whether my attacks are hitting, because I'll slide past the enemy and they will be behind me, but then the spell, I believe, goes behind me as long as I'm still locked on. The lock-on target changes chaotically, I think, depending on who's closest or who's on screen, and then a little bit of it is me controlling it, but it seems to be controlled by the same button that changes the camera. So if I float past someone and try to spin back around, it's going to lock onto someone else. So it's super chaotic. Once a battle starts happening, they like to throw like 50 enemies at you, and then you have no idea what's going on. Which leads me into my next bonk, which is chaotically overstimulating. In addition to all that stuff that I just said, there is a pop-up in one or more corner every 5 seconds. So it'll be like, Goofy is leveled up, Donald has leveled up, gained 15 magic points, gained 1 AP. Some like learned a new skill up in one corner, and then in the other corner it'll be like picked up 10 gold or whatever, Zenny, Zilly, whatever the money system is, picked up a flower, picked up a tomato. If you pick up 5 items, like if there are 5 items all in like a little area, like a tomato farm, for example, you pick up 5 tomatoes, you get 5 individual pop-ups that each hang on the screen for 3 seconds. Like it queues up everything that you pick up. So there's a little chime, a little pop-up appears in the corner, gained tomato. It hangs there for 3 seconds, and then chime, pop-up, gained tomato, chime, pop-up, gained tomato. If you pick up 5 tomatoes and then within the next 15 seconds pick up 5 more tomatoes, you have just signed yourself up for like a solid 30 seconds of chimes and pop-ups, because it queues them all up. It needs to show you every single tomato that you picked up. And I looked for a second. I'm sure that that's something that I can actually turn off, but who needs that? Who, like, could they not have done a system where it's like gained 5x tomatoes if you picked up 5 tomatoes very quickly? that seems like something. So in addition to flying around combat, doing attacks against random enemies who all have different health bars and all these level up chimes and then all these pickup chimes, I really don't honestly know what's going on 99% of the time. And then they have like these random attraction moves. I don't know what causes them to build up, but every once in a while it'd be like press triangle, and then like a roller coaster gets summoned and you ride the roller coaster for 45 seconds and you can shoot laser beams.
That
I'm
feels
like,
kind of
what?
like Kirby a little bit.
Yeah, I guess, but like every time it happened in Kirby, it made sense. Like you would go into a car shop or a garage and there would be a car. Oh, it's a car sequence time. But this is like I am in a normal fight and suddenly I'm on a roller coaster that I personally summoned into this fight from nowhere. Or like the boat ride, the famous Disney boat ride that where the boat swings back and forth. And that's like an attack, but you can't move it. You can only rotate it, and all the enemies move away from you. So you it doesn't do anything as far as I can tell. I don't there's so much going on that I don't know if I'm playing a game or if I'm watching a newborn stimulation video.
I mean, I was a sensory video.
Yeah, that's what a sensory video.
Um,
So, oh, go ahead.
yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say I also like. Well, I'll let you do your final bonk in case this is what it is.
Oh no, that's all my bonks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say like it's also kind of like a video because the cutscenes are so long.
Yeah, for every okay, this is another bonk. For every 30 seconds of gameplay, it'll be like walk down a hallway for a little bit and then 900 enemies will spawn and then you'll have chaotic overstimulation for a minute while you fight all those enemies, and then there will be like a 3-minute cutscene. You get to walk for another 15 seconds. You get another battle with a million enemies, and then there will be another cutscene. Where's the game where's the gameplay in my game? I like, you need some level of story and you can convey that story and stuff, and that's fine, but do you need such a micromanaging story that's holding your hand at like let me play the game. Let me play the game.
And just wants to play the game.
Yeah, I just want to play the game. And all like I people love Kingdom Hearts, the series, and I just don't think it's for me.
Kingdom Hearts, the musical of the series.
Yes. I wonder if they've got like a Broadway show for Kingdom Hearts yet. It is technically like a Disney property.
Yeah, they could, but
yeah.
It would
but
be
anyways,
chaotic.
Kingdom Hearts, it's something, all right. I can neither recommend nor unrecommend. What's the opposite of recommend?
Not recommend.
Okay, I can do neither with this. This is such a confusing enigma. I'm gonna play it a little bit more and see if something unlocks in my brain and I just realize what's happening. I'm gonna give it the honest try for as long as I can, but I'm not feeling this one, folks. And if you are, please yell at me. Please tell me how I'm a fool. But yeah, that's Kingdom Hearts. Hey, if you like it, have fun with it. Do you have any pitches to give me? All that talking about Kingdom Hearts has made me yearn for a pitch, like a good baseball game. Can you just lob me a fastball here?
It is going to be a fastball today, actually. I have a very quick pitch for you.
Oh.
And I will say I did a very brief, like a 30-second Google, because I have a feeling this game might already exist, but I couldn't find it. But listeners, if you know that this game already exists, please let me know and send it in and I will play it. But here it is. Here's the working title. It's called One Cake a Day. Now, Isaac's laughing because he knows where this came from.
Oh my God.
We've been watching the show, Is It Cake? On Netflix. And somehow he and I got to talking about what if there was a bakery that only made one cake a day? And that was just it. Like, just you have to go to this bakery. If you're the first one, you get to buy the cake. And that's the gimmick. I took both of these things. So briefly, Is It Cake is a show on Netflix that is a fever dream, and I'm not sure if it's real, if it happened in reality. I don't know if
It did not. It happened in Kingdom Hearts.
it's basically the Kingdom Hearts of TV shows. It's wild. It's a weird time, but I would recommend it. It's fun also. But the idea is basically people have to bake realistic looking cakes. So there's that trend on the internet, like, Is It Cake? People make super realistic cakes and then cut them, and oh wow, that lamp was actually made of cake. It's kind of the whole idea. The game has, seasoned bakers create realistic cakes, and judges have to guess what's real and what's cake. So taking that concept and one cake a day, I was like, I also thought of the game Wordle, where you
Oh,
get to solve one word puzzle a day every 24 hours. It resets. And this has obviously taken the internet by storm, this game Wordle. There's actually a lot of different versions of Wordle out there. I actually found one that was, I wish I could remember what it was called now because I could share it with you all. I'll put it in the show notes if I find it. Is where it shows you 5 different scenes of a movie, like screenshots of a movie, and you have to guess the movie.
is that Trivial Pursuit or no?
No,
Right?
this is literally just a version of Wordle that's movies related.
Oh, okay.
Like, it just shows you, like, every day you see they show you 5 different scenes of a movie, and you have to guess from those scenes what the movie is.
Interesting. I hadn't actually heard of that one.
But there's also ones that are like math related Wordles. There's ones that are longer words. There's ones where you do 4 words at once and so like people basically have taken this concept of Wordle and run with it, which is what I'm doing. So the explanation of the quick game ended up being longer than I thought. Basically, every day you will log into this game, one cake a day, and you will be shown 6 images of things, and one of them is cake, and you have to pick which one you think is cake. And that's
Okay.
the game.
All right, boom. There we go.
You get one chance.
And you get a streak that you can show off to your friends.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And
Perfect.
that's the game. That's it.
Wow. Incredible. 1 cake a day, folks.
That's it. All right.
I'm funding it. This is gonna go viral.
It could. But like I said, because there's so many variations, I'm like, someone might have already done this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Actually, I'm just gonna go, well, that's not gonna work because I was gonna say isitcake.com, but like that's obviously gonna be for
It's gonna be about, is it cake? Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, Isaac, what have you got for me? You got a pitch you can pitch on over?
I do. I have a pitch and it's a monster mash, it's a graveyard smash. That's the
Ooh.
name of the game. It's Graveyard Smash.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it is a multiplayer team versus team asymmetric game. It's so one team is the ghouls, and they are 4, possibly more. I think that this could work with the ghoul team being larger. But they are actually, where this goes back to the conversation we were having earlier, ironically or coincidentally rather. They are the 3rd person team. They have no guns. They dig up graves and eat corpses. They can jump around and like kind of hide on higher up places easier, or crawl across gravestones and stuff very fast. They can see in the dark, and I'm thinking that either if they don't have a larger team, maybe they respawn because ghouls are supposed to be individually weaker. When you join a ghoul team, you get to pick which kind of ghoul you want to be. So examples are like a digger. So you can burrow under the ground and kind of be harder. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, this is almost exactly the same as the next one I'm going to say. So I'm going to change this on the spot. You're seeing it live. All you do is you burrow and you make paths. You can basically make a tunnel that your allies can use to quickly move across different parts of the graveyard. And then another option is I call it the rogue for the D&D term, but it should have a more ghoulish term. You can basically hide in shadows, like turn basically invisible, lie in wait or sneak up on enemies and get good attacks in on them. And then the classic, I think this is specific to D&D, ghoul ability of paralyzing. So you have a ghoul that specifically can paralyze enemies when they bite. So that's team A, the heroes of our game. And then team
The
B.
ghouls are the heroes? The ones eating dead people?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The hunters. These are the humans who have heard about the ghoul infestation in the cemetery, and they come in with their guns and their crossbows to clear out the ghoul infestation. They need flashlights to see in the darkness, and they have no real way of healing except for one of the classes is a medic. So the medic can heal people, but if the ghouls take out the medic, then they lose any source of healing. You have the technology guy who has like flash grenades, which can like illuminate an area, which makes it harder for ghouls to see, easier for hunters to see. The heavy just has the biggest guns and can easily take down numbers of ghouls at once if they get the drop on them or have a good position. And then you have the scanner, which can like use heat detection to see cold spots, and that's where the ghouls are, because ghouls are undead, so obviously they're cold. So yeah, that's the two teams. It's hunters versus ghouls. The hunters kind of have some advantages in that they can shoot from a range, but they also have disadvantages. It's harder for them to see, harder for them to heal, harder for them to navigate, because like you have to leap over gravestones and stuff. You can't just scramble over them like a ghoul would be able to. And then the ghouls are kind of like a horde, a weaker horde, but if they gang up on a person, they get them alone, or they surprise them.
Mhm.
They can kind of kill an enemy and then get out of there. Then there's different levels for you to play on, because playing on the same map over and over again could get pretty boring, and each level will have a different layout to memorize, which includes stuff like different locations of graves that can be dug up by the ghouls. So it pays for the ghoul team to have people who memorize, oh, if I need to heal, I can go around this corner and get a body here. Or if the humans are guarding that one, I know the location of another one. And then I'm thinking each map also has like a bonus sort of secondary objective. So like civilians to protect or eat if you're the ghouls. A tomb for the hunters to rob, but the ghouls have to protect it to kind of flip things. Different things like that. So yeah, that is Graveyard Smash, the asymmetric team versus team first person shooter slash third person.
Yeah, so actually I'm a big fan of an asymmetric game. I think they're super cool. I've only played silly ones in well, not just silly, but I've played them in VR a lot, because a lot of times VR only one person can wear a headset if there's two people physically together. So they create these, like, my favorite one, and again, this was early days, this was like 2016 VR, but one person wore the headset and the other person held the hands, and you had to, like, one of you was a ghost and you're trying to blow out candles, and the other one is trying to find the ghost, and so you're just like running around, and it was just so goofy.
Wow, that's pretty good.
But I really like your game. I think it sounds neat. Would it be like, when you say join teams, are people coming in from like online, or how would you?
Yes, so it would be an online
Yeah,
game.
cool. All right, I would fund that. All right, well, now that we've pitched our games that we have very well thought out, it's time to pitch a few that we barely think out at all in the rapid fire round.
Ooh, I don't know why I went for a ghost. It's
Because
not
you made a
spooky.
ghostly game. We make a lot of
Oh.
spooky games on this.
We love spooky games.
We love spooky games. All right, so I'm going to generate 3 random words, and Isaac will be timing us for 5 minutes. We have to make a game that incorporates all 3 words, however loosely connected they may be. Here we go. Are you
And
ready?
we need to come up with mechanics and a title, and we do this 3 times.
Yes. Are you ready?
Yes.
The words are victory, legislature, and shape.
Oh my God. Okay. You are a local politician who has to pass legislature to shape the lives of the citizens and I would say that my idea for this is that it's not really a game where you win as much as it is a game where you watch things happening.
I mean,
You kind of do things to see what the results will be in the game world.
so like a visual novel.
No, not necessarily. So this is gonna be maybe weird for anyone who hasn't watched the movie, but like the other game in Free Guy.
Oh, yeah.
So basically my idea is like you as your character, you have like you are attempting to pass legislature. So you have multiple options that come up because I don't really know of an easy way for players to be able to craft
Mhm.
legislature themselves. So maybe they're just granted a couple options and then they have to convince voters or city council or whatever, pull favors or run a campaign to convince people to let that legislature pass. And that's the victory aspect. So once that legislature passes, then you just get to see how society reacts to that. So like if you pass a law to ban dogs, like if you somehow convince people to ban dogs, you then see how that's playing out. Or you can choose to like um raise taxes. I don't actually know what falls under legislature. I'm not a politics head.
Wow.
But yeah. Um
I
that's
guess
my idea.
so. Okay, so where I'm coming from is like that's not how you pass a bill. Like you don't talk to the people, like the people elect people to then pass bills. So you would have to convince your fellow legislators. Like,
Okay, and that's where I'm thinking of the
okay,
pulling favors idea.
yeah,
Like, oh, I will help pass this bill, but only if you include this extra detail, and then you have to choose whether it's worth it or not.
yeah.
Uh,
So that's good. And then yeah, I mean, I like seeing how it plays out. It's kind of like what I talk about sometimes. So like back in the day, I did a program where you basically write like it's like mock state government basically, and we tried to write a bill where you could to lower the drinking age to 18 instead of 21. But when we did the research, we would lose federal roads funding if we did that. So we would either have to figure
ooh.
out how we would replace that money, or we had to not propose the bill. And so I think it's kind of cool to point out these like actual things that occur in lawmaking, where like say you pass that bill in your game, you'd have to watch all the roads slowly deteriorate because the town doesn't have enough money to make them nice.
Oh no, yeah, then that's
Or
kind of
taxes go
the
up in order to keep the roads nice, and when people get upset about that. So it's like that would be kind of fun.
yeah, and I would have to say that most likely the majority of how that would be indicated is like you would have a couple of meters like a sim would have, like happiness, etc. of the townsfolk, and maybe like a zoo tycoon kind of game. You can click on individual townsfolk and they give their thoughts about what's going on. Like, oh, I sure wish I could have a dog, angry face.
Yeah.
So what's the name of this game?
Big
City
sigh.
planning is my passion. No,
No,
this
because it's
isn't
not
really
about
about
city planning.
planning.
No, and I mean honestly, I would not play this game. Like it's interesting, but it just
This
doesn't.
is actually my kind of game as a city builder.
It's
It,
not
it
a
would
city builder though.
Well,
It's
no, but it has the same genetics of the genre of video game that, yeah,
okay.
I
So
would say
maybe
it's
you should
most
name it
similar.
since I wouldn't play it.
Oh geez. Okay, I have 22 seconds to come up with a name for this. Can I do it, folks? No, I can't. My mind is completely blank. Um, how about okay, the name's called I'm Just Bill. You are a legislator, you are a bill
I
passing
was
guy
gonna say
named Bill.
that.
Boom.
It wasn't called that. I was gonna call it like Free Bill or something like that. Like I was going in that direction. All right, great. I'm
Nope,
just
I
Bill.
went for the Schoolhouse Rock reference.
Yeah, I got there. Okay, great. All right. Well, that took us forever.
Yeah, we had 5 seconds
Right
left.
up to the last
Yeah.
minute. Here we go. Are we ready for our next three words?
Yes, we are.
I would love it to not be about government. All right. Shine.
Shine.
Offender.
Offender?
Rare.
Rare. Rare shine offender.
Offender. Yep. Like the offend like they offended me. They're the offender.
Yeah. Okay.
Shine, rare, offender. Okay, so
I
shine and rare could go with like precious gems. Mm.
Okay, and then offender, you're a repeat offender, you're a gem heister.
There was actually a game I used to play called Jewel Thief. My dad and I really liked it. Anyway, coming
Okay.
back from the past.
I mean, does that give you a gameplay mechanic idea?
I can't remember how Jewel Thief is played, to be honest. I know that you it's like puzzles. You have to like collect just gems through puzzles. And
So that's what I was kind of thinking. I was thinking of a puzzle game. So an above view.
Yeah.
Each move you make, so you move based on tiles. So imagine the game like a chessboard grid, and pressing the arrow keys, moves you one tile in that direction. So the idea is you have a limited number of moves where you have to dodge security, which every time you move, security also takes exactly one move.
Oh, okay, like Super Hot.
Yes, I've never played Super Hot, but I'm thinking so
I guess not just like Super Hot, but like in Super Hot, it's like when you move, like the assailants only move when you do.
Okay, so yeah, it's basically that. I would say it's more turn-based because like if you're not moving, like nothing happens. Like the only thing that matters is the number of actual moves you make. So you move and then everything else in the world moves. Kind of like a turn-based thing, only the opponent is everything else.
Is there anything about this game that made you choose that specifically?
No, this is just like the first idea that came into my head for some reason.
I was just curious. I was like, I don't know where you're getting it, but
yeah. So
I'm here for the ride.
Yeah. So you dodge security. You have to unlock things, like unlock doors with a pick lock, cut open the gem cases to pull the gems out, and then get out in a certain number of moves.
Oh, I like that. And then maybe each level there'd be like a fancier thing you're stealing so that people get excited about like, I took the crown jewels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Level. Okay. Yeah, I'm into it. All right, let's see. What are we calling it? Can't call it Jewel Thief. That already exists.
Yeah. Thief of Jewels?
No.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it Jewel Rogue.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, because it is inherently a kind of, based on the way that I described it, it would probably be considered a roguelike in a lot of ways, or at least a roguelite, which is a genre that is birthed from the original game Rogue.
But I didn't like that at all. I'm just making games I don't ever want to play.
Yeah, well, that's what I do here. We have opposite tastes in games, I guess.
That's not true, but yeah.
So it takes whatever Jewel Thief is, and it is a roguelite. So Jewel Rogue. It's a roguelite version of Jewel Thief.
Okay.
Maybe. Without us knowing actually how Jewel Thief plays, we can't make that call.
Anything except what it looks like.
Okay. So yeah, I think Jewel Rogue works.
Yeah. Okay.
1 minute left. 1 minute and 5 seconds left.
All right. Let's see if the next words can get me a game I would actually play.
Yeah.
Okay, so this has a word we already have used before. Should we generate new ones or keep it?
Do you keep a list of all words that we've used, or
no,
do you just remember?
I just remember. I should keep a list. That'd
unless
be good.
we're keeping a list. Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have individual words. So unless this is just a dumb word that we hated before, I think we should go with it. Listeners, email us. Let us know how we should proceed with this in the future.
Okay.
That's my call to action.
All right. Here we go. So we'll keep it. So the words are window, get, and lid, L-I-D, like the lid of a cup.
Okay, well, wasn't our previous game about windows?
Yeah, it was
called Win. You a favor.
No, it was window.
Oh, okay. I thought there was also a game called Do Me a Favor where you had to defend a pie against people.
Yes, but the word was not window.
Oh, okay. Well,
There's a window in it, but the word was not window.
Funnily enough, I immediatally thought of a pie on a windowsill.
We can't. We already made that game. That's what I'm saying.
All right, wait.
I was also hoping that it said get lit. Window get lit would be a game, but get lid? What is that?
Yeah, but so this game is the opposite of the previous one. You are the person trying to get the.
No, I get to make this game. You have done.
Fine. Okay. All right.
I don't have any ideas.
I'm quiet now. You've got 3 minutes and 54 seconds.
Okay. So when I think
Floor
of
is
lid,
yours.
I often think of the store Lids, which is baseball caps only, because I think it's very funny that store exists and seems to thrive in American malls. And so I think that this is a game where you have to rob a hat store. You got to get the lids. And then you resell them on the street.
Do you do any window shopping, or do you sell from a window? Like where?
No. You get them through the window because you're stealing the hats and you're reselling them on the street.
Okay.
And there's different. You can tell how well you're doing based on like who's wearing the hats you sell versus like hats from like competitors.
Okay.
Actually, wait. So yeah, I like your idea of window shopping better. So instead of stealing, you have a store that's hats. And you have to design the hats. And so like you'll be able to like physically see your sales because people in the mall will wear your hat designs. And this also gives an element that I like of Animal Crossing. You can make people wear dumb things and they just wear them.
Okay. Oh, wait. Is it like a first person perspective from inside the store looking out the window and people are just walking by?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, so you can like see people, so you kind of like get a feel, and then like if no one wears your hats, that's when you lose. So like other people are selling hats at this like hat market mall, whatever.
Okay. No, it's a hat mall. It is a mall that exclusively hosts.
And actually, that's the name of the game. It's called Hat Mall.
Hat Mall.
And yeah, so your goal is to make, and then if everyone wears your hat design, then you win.
Okay.
But you have to mix it up. So like obviously, like people, as like the old design gets consumed by newer designs, you have to make a newer design to stay up with the fashion.
Interesting. Okay. Yes.
And maybe it'd be like a little coffee talk-esque where people would come and be like, man, I just really wish there were more yellow hats.
And then you can make
I make a yellow hat. But you have, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think that's the game.
All right. Boom. Mall hat mall. We did it. A minute and 30 seconds left, folks. Can you believe it?
All right. Well, that's our game, everybody. We have a Twitter. It's at Make That Game Pod. We have an Instagram. It's at Make That Game Pod. And we have an email, makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. You can send us game ideas. You can send us words that we should use to make a game. You can tell us what you think about games. You can tell us new names for the games we come up with.
You can tell us game names that we come up, come up with game ideas for based only on the name.
And you can suggest games you think we should honk and bonk. That's been actually something that we've really liked so far, is getting listeners to write in about games they want to hear talked about on the show. So
yeah,
send that stuff. Love it. Anyway, if you heard a game that you think should exist in the world, we invite you to go out there and
make that game.